Good morning everyone, this is Soumya Ranjan Nahak and welcome to my channel Renu Ratna Pathshala. So today we are going to study about the literals of Python. So what do you mean by literal or Python? It is a part of token. We had already discussed it in our previous classes. So literal is a fixed value or raw data which is assigned to a variable. Fixed value or raw data assigned to a variable. So it is a fixed value or raw data which is being assigned to a variable. So what do you mean by variable? Variable is a kind of container or memory location which store the value. Suppose I will write x equal to 5, then here variable is x which contain the value 5. And one more thing I will tell, variable always starts with character that may be capital letter, uppercase or lowercase or underscore. In the video of identifier, I told you variable starts with number, but it was not correct. Correct thing is variable always starts with uppercase, lowercase of character or underscore. So we got the idea about the literal. Literal is a fixed value or raw data which is being assigned to a variable. So this is the literal definition and this is the example of literal. So now we will study about the types of literal. There are different types of literal we will study now, and these are integer literal, string literal, floating literal, complex literal, and non-literal, spatial literal. I will write here types of literal, types of literal, integer literal, string literal, float literal, complex literal, spatial literal, and fifth one is collection literal. So in this type 6. So in this type of literal we will get the specialization of value which is assigned in a variable. So these are the types of literals. So I will write and I will explain each one properly. If I will write that, what is integer literal? Integer literal is a literal which store or which contain the fixed value or raw data which is being assigned by a variable, and it contain integer type of data or value. Suppose I will write a is a variable here 5. So 5 is integer type of data which is assigned in a variable or assigned to a variable, and the variable name is a. That is the example of integer literal. In case of integer literal, you will get octal value, binary value, hexadecimal value. And binary value prefix means it has written before the original value. Suppose I will write the binary value of 2. 10 is the binary value of 2. If I will write as a literal, then I will use, this is the prefix, this is the binary value of 2. As like it, octal's prefix is, and hexadecimal prefix is. So these are the literals which belongs to the integer literals. So next I will write about string literal. What is string literal? String is a collection of character, and string literal is always represent a value within single quotation, represent value within single quotation, double quotation, as well as triple quotation. So the value which is derived within single quotation is same as the value which is derived as double quotation. So there is no difference, but we will use different types of quotation for a string literal. So I will write the example of it. If I will write Renu Ratna, which contain a value math, and if I will print it, if I will explain or describe the string literal like it, Renu Ratna is variable here which starts with uppercase, and value is math here which is assigned inside the variable Renu Ratna. So the output will be math. So this is the string literal. So now we will study about the complex literal. Complex literal is a kind of variable which contain some constant value, and the value which is not written or described. Suppose I will write x equal to a plus bj, or in case of a we will implement 5, in case of b, in place of b we will implement 2, and j will be constant, means value has not declared in this program. So in this literal, this will be, a will be real value, bj will be complex value. Because the value of a has already declared here, that is 5, but value of j did not declare here, means J don't have any kind of value, but B have value too. If we will calculate this point, then we will never get a proper conclusion. So that we define it as a complex literal. This part is known as real value, this part is known as complex value, that is the complex literal. So next literal will be spatial literal. Spatial literal. Spatial literal is always represented by non, and non represent null value. It represent null value. If I will write A equal to non and print A, then the output will be non, because non is a special type of literal which represent null value. That is the example of non, spatial literal. Then after we will study about the Boolean literal. Boolean literal. Boolean value means it is defined by two state or two value, that is yes or no. Yes or no. Basically in programming language it represented by true or false. If we are executing a state, or if we are executing a program which is defined its output by true or false, then this type of calculation belongs to the Boolean literal. So if I will take an example of it, we had taken variable A, 1 true, B 0 false. If we want to print A as well as print B in two separate line, then the output will be I will rewrite the program. A equal to 1 equal true means it's a equal operator which represent 1 means true, and B true plus 5. If I will print B here, then the output will be 6. How? Because in case of B is a variable which contain two value, 5 plus true value has already assigned here. True value means 1, so 1 plus 5 is 6. This is the Boolean literal, and Boolean literal always represented by two value, that is true or false. So now we will study about collection literal. In case of collection literal, you will get so many points, so many collections like tuple, list, dictionary, and as like other literal, you will represent the tuple literal, list literal, dictionary literal. So we study and I will explain each literal properly. So now we will study about the tuple literal. Tuple is a collection of data or value which is defined by open parenthesis and close parenthesis, and within this parenthesis we will represent the value. Suppose I will write a equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3, and here we will print a, then the output will be 1 comma 2 comma 3, and tuple always represent within the open parenthesis and close parenthesis. That is the example of tuples literal. And literal which contain the fixed value which is assigned in a variable. Here variable is a and value is 1 2 3 which is represented within open parenthesis and close parenthesis. This part is known as literal, and this part represented by tuple variable. So now we will study about the least literal. Least literal always represented by open square bracket and close square bracket. If I will write b is a variable which contain or value or data, that is 1 5 7, and it close with close square bracket. If I will print b here, the output will be 1 5 7. It's like it dictionary will represent the value.